a Show Tuesday. That is right. It is an Show Tuesday after what we saw and occurred last night in Fenway. We will talk a little bit of Royals baseball, a lot of Chiefs football, including one Chris Jones. The back and forth begins. Fulton, you said yesterday, look, no one's taken to the media. Nobody's talked.
Yeah, I shouldn't have opened my mouth.
You know, everything's been cordial, and now that is not the case.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything.
The Kansas City Chiefs and Brett Veach spoke with Jesse Newell and Blair Kirkhoff of the Kansas City Star. We will get into that. We'll talk about the future of college athletics. I think I know where we're headed to. The question is, when will it happen, not if it will happen. We'll hear from Spags. He spoke to the media today. We'll also hear from Nick Bolton, the tackling machine. Got some odds makers, all that coming up on this edition of Mic'd Up. So thank you again for joining us. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Let us know your thoughts on our YouTube channel. It's so simple. It is so easy to get a hold of. You go to youtube.com, you click on, type in Sports on 580, click on it, hit subscribe, and you can interact with us in the YouTube comments. Follow us for all the videos that we'll post for reaction to all the games coming up. So let us know your thoughts on this Tuesday. If you want to wish Fulton a goodbye haiku, you know, where you want to,
man, don't put pressure on them to make haikus.
Put a little
haikus aren't easy.
Put something together for Fulton. His last day is coming up on Friday. As we say thank you to one Fulton.
You haven't gotten it right in all this time.
I know.
You're running out of time to figure this out.
Fulton Michael.
Nope.
Fulton. It wouldn't be Fulton Jonathan, would it?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, is it a common name?
Yeah.
Okay.
My middle name is a very common name.
Fulton Eric.
Nope.
Okay. We'll get to that though. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. We will. And on Monday, we will be heading back to the pre-COVID days where we will be from 2 to 6. We'll be 580 Sports Talk with myself, Brendan, and Dan. So a little lineup shakeup. It will be the Clay and Buck show from 11 to 2 leading into 580 Sports Talk. So we will, that will be the new lineup coming up for 580 WIVW. So that is what will be happening here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. Chris Jones, not in camp, but we've gotten a little bit of an update from the Kansas City Star, good friend Jesse Newell, Blair Kirkhoff. This is what Brett Veach told the Star yesterday. Quote, he's a great player and he wants a big contract. He deserves a big contract. And I don't think there's any surprise in that regard. But there are just some hurdles we have to work through in regards to how we can keep this thing going for the short and long term. But we've never wavered on, this is a guy that we want to exhaust all of our efforts to get done, because that's how much we think of him. You have to keep in mind that when we did make the move with Tyreek, one determining factor was because there was going to be a deal for Chris Jones. And so to do Tyreek, there was a concern of, would we be able to get Chris Jones the deal? And so that was a moment of time, and it was before the draft that we hit the reset button, and we were like, you know, it's really hard to trade a player the magnitude of Tyreek Hill. But we're following that up with someone just as significant on the defensive side. He doesn't foresee a trade option this season. It says here, I think for all parties, the best resolution would be for him to end his career as a Chief and get that financial security. And for us to do what we had set out to do, and that's to work through last offseason and this offseason in mind, get some young guys, Veach said, Hopefully this gets resolved, but we have no intentions of making a trade. What about the back and forth, the negotiation process? Once the two sides were close to training camp, Veach described the dialogue as extensive with daily contact. Now, the communication is at a different stage. You reach this point where you and I think both parties just want to kind of take a deep breath and reset a little bit. And then the talks become less frequent. But at the same time, I mean, the start of the season is September 7th, Veach said. So by nature, they're going to have to heat up again. And like I said, that's where we're still optimistic. Three things to take away from this. The Chiefs are putting out there that they really, really, really want Chris Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So this is their way of putting some pressure back on Chris Jones, saying, hey, look, we want you. We feel like, without saying it, we are giving you a good faith contract. But you are not, in turn, giving a good faith You're not giving us a good faith negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Yeah.
We want you. We traded Tyreek Hill to keep you. That is what they're saying here. Okay. Number two, the Chiefs have a line. We know that they always do, because this was very, very similar to what happened with Tyreek Hill. We want to keep him. We got him a deal. Here's what we're offering you. But then Tyreek Hill came out and said, no, I want to be the highest paid guy. And the Chiefs said, we're not going to do that. We have a line drawn in the sand, in permanent marker, in crayon, in any type of device that can make a line. So they do. Otherwise, they would have given him his money. And the third one, is there really a difference between August 8th and September 7th? If the Chiefs have a line...
There's a difference for about 29 days.
I don't think there's a difference in negotiating, though. And I'm going to explain myself this.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs have a line, and their line is, let's just say, hypothetically, $28 million. They're not going over $28 million. We can't do it. Can't stop. Won't do it.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Won't do it. And Chris Jones is not going to budge. I want 30. I want 30. Then there's no date difference between the 8th of August and the 7th of September. Because once the 7th of September hits, a deal is not going to get done. Once the season starts, I don't think a deal is going to get done. Chris Jones is going to say this. That's fine. I'm just going to play this year. I'm under contract. And let's see. Well, then next year, Chiefs will tag him and then trade him. That's it. We said yesterday there are two options for the Chiefs. It is extend Chris Jones, or at the end of this year, sometime in March, when the new league year starts, they tag him and then they trade him. And you get whatever you can get for Chris Jones. I mean, you'll at least get a second-round pick. Some people won't want to give up compensation and pay Chris Jones that type of money.
Yeah.
But somebody probably will. And that's why the Chiefs will end up with at least a draft pick going into the next season. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Those are the three situations and the three takeaways that I got from the Chiefs' point of view. They want him. They want you to think they want him. They want you to know that they they value Chris Jones more than Tyreek. They're doing everything they can to put it out into the public that, hey, this is not our fault. The reason why Chris Jones isn't a Chief is because he is not acting in good faith. That is, to me, the negotiating tactic here. It's funny that you said yesterday that
no one has played this game yet.
No one has played this game yet. Chris
Now
Jones
playing
did
the game.
Chris Jones did a little bit earlier when we found out from Nate Taylor that he wants $31 million.
Yeah.
If neither team is going to budge on their number, then August 8th, September 7th, October 15th, November 27th, it doesn't matter. None of these dates matter. There is no deadline. The deadline will be franchise tag and then who
ponies up.
Yeah, that's it.
So one, I do find it incredibly funny that a day after I say no one's played this card, no one's entered this arena, Brett Veach and company enter the arena. Maybe I speak things into power. Who knows? Here's the thing. To me, there is a reason to say things are different between August 8th and September 7th, and why I think it's important for Brett Veach to bring up September 7th. Until September 7th comes, there is a belief, however fleeting it may become, that a deal could materialize.
So you're going with the Shawshank Redemption of hope is the best thing.
Yeah.
That, all good things, still have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However fleeting it might become as we get closer to September 7th, until that first game of the regular season, until the Chiefs and the Lions do battle, until that moment, there can always be a chance that something will materialize and someone shifts off the line. If one of them does, it's probably more Chris Jones than the Chiefs, because the Chiefs have shown that they're just seemingly unwilling to budge on their line. But you at least can have a thought of, as we get closer, you can try and put the pressure on. Because for Chris, I look at it this way, for Chris Jones, if he truly has the belief of, I would like to end my career here, I don't want to go anywhere else, I really, really want to avoid going anywhere else. You've said this a lot. Deadlines create action. Brett Veach and company can say, Chris, we will give you until week 1. We are willing to sit here in these rooms, have this back and forth. We're willing to drag this thing out until week 1. It's going to cost you money while you do it. It's going to cost you money with fines and game checks and whatever. But we are willing to sit here and work with you until then. But if Brett Veach coming to go, but we hit week 1, we ain't doing this. We can pick this up later or whatever. But basically treat it as week 1 comes for regular season action, and we don't have something done, Chris, you're playing a year on your own.
Well, and this is a dangerous game to play if you're Chris Jones.
It's dangerous for both sides.
It really is.
It's a dangerous game of chicken.
The problem with Chris Jones is he eventually has to show up, get into football shape,
and play football.
He's not just play football.
Play well.
Not well. You got to play elite. If you want $31 million,
he wants his payday, he's got to play that level.
You got to get 15 and a half sacks. Yeah. If you come back this year and you said, nope, I'll just ride it out. I'll wait till I get to free agency. All right. And you roll in with an 8.5 sack year and you miss 4 games. You ain't getting that number, man.
Maybe get Quinn Williams money.
You ain't getting that number.
And so, because
now you're going to be a year older.
Yeah.
You're going to be 30.
It is a dangerous game for Chris to play of, I'm just not going to sign anything. This is my last year. It's also a semi-dangerous game for the Chiefs of, if you don't lock him up long-term, you got 1 year left and you got to figure it out. And Brett Veach can say all he would want about, creating plans, and this team's done a good job adapting. Do they really want to have to pull that emergency ripcord this early? Do they really want to already get to life without Chris Jones?
Well,
because I believe Brett Veach, when he says he wants to lock him up sometime long-term, they don't want to have to prepare for life without Chris Jones for the 3 to 4 years. That's what they would prefer. But if they lose this game of chicken, they get him for 1.
They don't want it. I'm going with what we're reading here. Yeah. It sounds like they don't want to lose him.
No,
but
they understand it might have to happen.
They're prepared to, because they've got a number.
Yeah.
Now, here is another thing. All the tea leaves that you're seeing and we can hear about and read about tell me that we don't know if the Chiefs are offering a good faith number. Are they offering 24?
Are they offering 25? Are they offering 28,
we
29?
don't know. We don't know. But we do know that Chris Jones wants
30.
31, and the NFL's top 100 came out. I hope people don't really take a whole lot of stock in that, because multiple players and former players have said that they fill it out just willy-nilly. It's not that big of a deal. This is what Chris Jones had to say on where they were interviewing Chris Jones. Chris Jones ended up number 10. Here's what Chris Jones had to say.
What do you think you are this year?
Top 5, I should be.
I'm sworn to secrecy, but you're definitely in the top 10.
Am I in the top 5?
I'm sworn to secrecy, but you're definitely in the top 10.
Let me know if I'm in the top 5. I will hit a chair over my head right now, knock myself out.
You're definitely in the top 10.
Oh, I'm not in the top 5. God dang.
What I got from that is Chris Jones thinks he's a top 5 player in the NFL. Top 5 player in the NFL. The top 5 players in the NFL were Patrick Mahomes, number 1, Justin Jefferson, number 2, Jalen Hurts, number 3, Nick Bosa, number 4, and I think Joe Burrow, number 5. He thinks he's a top 5 player in the NFL.
Yep.
If you're a top 5 player in the NFL, you think you are going to, you're going to want to be paid the best of the best. That's why I have a feeling where Chris Jones says, no, I want to be paid what I'm worth. I want to be paid $31 million. And that's why I think right now the Chiefs the Chiefs might be going to 28. I think 28 is completely reasonable, and give him $70 million guaranteed. I have no problem with that. But I don't think any defensive player is worth $31 million. I don't. People are saying, well, Jake, that's $3 million. $3 million is it's a new player.
Yeah, we talk about a lot. People will be like, is it really that much? $3 million in the NFL is quite literally an entirely extra person. Chris thinks he's top 5, which is, you know what? Fair, Chris. Here are the defensive players ahead of Chris Jones. To solidify, these are the defensive players in the top 100, in the top 10 of the top 100, who are ahead of Chris Jones. Micah Parsons is number 9. Nick Bosa is number 3. End of list. If he thinks he's top 5, you would need to displace one of these 5 individuals. Travis Kelce, Nick Bosa, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, and one Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying Chris is wrong to think that. I'm not. That's totally fine. That, according to this list, which just to add, as always, this list means nothing. It's filled out by players, and sometimes they have their kids fill it out. This list literally means nothing. Except for like extra bulletin board material if you need it. And if Mahomes.
Joe Tooney and Creed Humphrey aren't on this list is not viable, in my opinion.
Nonetheless. So you could displace one of those, but it's just, I get what he's shooting for, and I get why he wants 30. And honestly, because of the way the defensive market's about to reset itself, 30 for premier guys to get to the quarterback is going to become the new standard.
Yep.
Like Nick Bosa is going to get over 31. Micah Parsons is going to get over 31. They're going to get over 31. I get why Chris puts what he wants. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to give it to him.
Coming up, we'll talk a little Royals baseball, and then we'll talk with Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. The Royals lost yesterday in rough fashion. When I say rough, I mean like they got hosed. NASCAR driver Cole Reagans. Maybe we got something here. You were a little
Career
worried
high
that
6 2/3 innings, career high 11 strikeouts. Folks,
Cole Reagans.
I told you. I told you when they got him.
Well, no, you were worried though about this start. You said it
I
ain't
wa-
good.
I said we'll see because of the tiny ballpark.
Yeah.
He's all I'm gonna say is when he was the centerpiece of the Royals Chapman trade, other people were like, I don't know. And I said, hey, it looks like there might be something there with that added velocity. 3 starts in, his ERA with the Royals alone is barely over 1.
Cole Reagans, NASCAR driver, pretty good side gig as a pitcher. Bobby Witt comes in clutch, ties it up at the top of the 9th. That was cool. That was great. Bottom of the 9th, Carlos Hernandez wasn't great.
No, it wasn't perfect.
But runners at first and second.
2 down.
2 down. 3-2 balls and strikes at the plate. So payoff pitch.
Yep.
Ball was thrown. It was a ball, but
It was high, I believe.
it was high. Check swing. And this was a check swing that was a full swing, and the I forgot who the batter
Luis
was.
Urias.
Yeah. He even thought he went around.
That's the
He
thing.
walked
Luis,
towards the dugout, and then the umpire pointed
to
to
first.
first base, which is fine. He's the home plate umpire. He didn't think he went around. That's tough. But then they decide to go to first base umpire.
Yeah, and go to Vic Carapazza.
And Vic said, no, he did not swing.
Yep.
Folks.
He swung.
That was a swing.
He swung.
Everyone thought it was a
Everyone
swing.
in the world thought he swung.
Yeah. Every baseball pundit that I follow on social media thought it was a swing.
Yeah, that's a swing 10 out of 10 times.
And we go to the top of the 10th. No. It's a ball.
2 pitches later, grand slam, game over.
Yeah.
They got hosed.
That's where you need the pitch replay.
That's,
The pitch challenge.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
for me,
That was bad.
we have to stop having judgment calls to umpires. We
bad.
have to.
That was real bad. That was real bad. Coming up next, we got a little we got some Matt Derrick coming up. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk a little Matt Derrick here on Mic'd Up. Going to St. Joe, Missouri to talk with Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Matt, how you doing?
I am doing pretty well, Jake. I'm just chilling here in the Blum Academic Resource Center here on campus. It's a great place to just hang out and talk to you fine folks. So I can't be doing any better than that, Jake.
All right, how did practice go today?
Reasonably well. I mean, it has been great weather-wise. I mean, there's no complaints there. But you are getting to the part of the training camp where I think everybody is pretty much ready to be done with it and get back home. And we've still got some time. We've got 5 more practices up here. But it's been like clockwork. I mean, other than really the early maybe feistiness that we had with Travis Kelce and some guys earlier, everything's pretty much calmed down, and it's just been routine. But I think you can definitely sense that these guys are ready to play a real game, which they get to do this weekend. And I think they're ready for camp to be over with, which it will be next week.
Who looked good today in practice?
I think of a variety. I mean, I don't know if there was any one particular star today, although I thought, a few guys continue to stand out. I mean, Matt Bushman, 4th, 5th tight end, however where he may be, catches everything still. So I've been really impressed with him. I've been really impressed with the receivers too. I mean, I thought everybody had a pretty good day. I'm still kind of perplexed at why Richie James isn't getting more looks and more snaps, but maybe that will change. But I thought he has looked pretty impressive. There was a lot of one-on-ones today, so there will be, I'm sure, a few highlight reel catches that will be out there on social media. Might even been a few that I missed, but this was a pretty good day. The defense had a good day, mostly because they were, one of their team situations. It was a 3rd and long, so the defense kind of got to win that one and thrive a little bit. So, like I said, I don't think there's any particular one standout, but I think this was a good day for everybody.
Anybody stand out this entire training camp for you thus far where you go, man, that guy is doing something that I didn't think he could?
I mean, to me, it's probably the receiver room more than anything, and that's not to slight anybody else, because I think there've been some good performances, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But I think that one is just that the receiver room is the one that we had the most questions about, and there was a lot of just how much you could get out of that group. And I think Sky Moore has been really impressive because he just has been so consistent. Just seems to catch everything. He's in the right place. I mean, he just looks like a completely different player than he did a year ago. Marquez looks like Marquez, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, he's a really good receiver, so I think that's good. Rashee Rice, I mean, I have to grade things on a curve to a bit because, my first training camp covering team full time was Tyreek Hill. So, hey, are any of these rookies, have I seen a rookie since then that was Tyreek Hill? Well, no, but then Tyreek Hill's one of the 10 best players in the league. But Rashee Rice has been pretty good. I mean, I would say I could probably tell you that to me, he's been the second best rookie receiver that I've seen with the Chiefs behind Tyreek since 2016. And so I think that puts him in pretty good company.
We're talking with Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. Here's our Chiefs insider. All right, let's get to Chris Jones. Fun fact here, Fulton said yesterday on the show that, hey, you know what? No one's gone to the media. It's been pretty cordial. There's no back and forth, no negative, campaigning. And then Brett Veach talks to the Kansas City Star, and they have a piece out there from good friend Jesse Newell, and basically says, hey, we still want him. We even traded Tyreek Hill to keep him. We want Chris Jones. We're not going to trade him. We're going to play him this year. He's under contract. It doesn't make any sense for us. He's excellent. Sure kind of sounds like they're trying to put the pressure on Chris Jones to make him look like the bad guy. So how do you view the comments from one Brett Veach?
Yeah, and maybe it's a little bit just because of knowing the inside baseball of training camp. I mean, Brett Veach sits down with a handful of reporters every year during training camp for one-on-one. So, that was yesterday with both ESPN and the Star. So the timing of that doesn't really, concern me at all. I mean, it was going to happen. And so inevitably those questions are going to get asked. That's the biggest thing to ask Brett Veach. And putting it in that context, knowing that it wasn't like Brett was going and looking to find somebody to peddle the quotes to, or was trying to leak something, I mean, in that context, I think that I think it comes to me out a little bit differently. I mean, to me, it just comes out as, well, he's saying all the right things. I mean, he's saying all the things that, you want to say about Chris. I mean, there's, like you said, there's nothing negative in there. They're saying that they have been trying to build everything they can to get this done, and that they've prioritized Chris Jones over Tyreek Hill and some other choices. I don't think that's any secret either. So that's the closest thing I think you could probably say to putting a little bit of pressure on Chris. But at the same time, I mean, I don't blame them. I mean, you gotta use what leverage you have, and that is probably the one leverage that they do have with Chris, is just to point out that they've made a lot of decisions based around him, that other guys like Patrick and Travis have made financial decisions based on him, and the ball's kind of in his court. And Chris has his side of things too, and maybe we'll hear from Chris's side. Maybe they'll tell their story at some point. But at this point, we haven't heard it yet.
Do you think the Chiefs say, hey, we want Chris Jones, we want him, but they also have a number. We know that the Chiefs aren't crossing that number. And it sure sounds as if we go by face value from what Brett Veach has said here, and let's do that. Let's say everything that Brett Veach has said is 1,000% true, and there's no other postulating going on anywhere. Chris Jones will not accept the Chiefs up to that line offer then at this point.
Yeah, and and to me, it's not necessarily entirely a black and white issue. I mean, to me, it's not necessarily just all about the dollars and cents from a annual standpoint. I mean, it could very well be that there is something else in the negotiations that's problematic. Maybe it's the guarantee. Maybe the guarantee is not enough. We haven't really heard specifically whether it's, one side wants 27 million and the other side wants 30, and they're that far apart. We haven't had anybody come out and say, nope, Chris wants 80 million guaranteed, and that the Chiefs want 70. We haven't heard that. So we don't know the specifics, and it's always possible. I mean, frankly, when you're talking about that kind of money, even as much as we've been talking about the fines, maybe Chris has got, a number that he's like, you know what, hey, if it means missing training camp and I can work out in Miami for a few weeks, maybe it's worth something to me. I don't know. I mean, to me, the final deal will tell us a lot, because I will say this, from just getting it done standpoint, if this has all been about leverage and about getting the most money for Chris Jones, if he's holding out, and this is day 18 of the holdout, if he's been holding out and doesn't end up with 28 million and easily 70 plus guaranteed, I'm going to be asking, what was he holding out for? Because I think that deal, something less than 27 million a year, 70 million guaranteed, I think was readily available weeks ago. So to me, the numbers are going to tell us a lot. I mean, if this is maybe a market shifting deal, I mean, obviously Aaron Donald's out there, but if this is significantly above what some of the other guys like Quinn Williams have, then I'll understand it. But if this is just a marginal increase, I'm going to be like, I think Chris could have had this deal 2 weeks ago.
What option do you think is more likely to happen? Because to me, there's two ways that this is going to work. Chris Jones gets a contract extension. Chris Jones plays out this year. They tag him and then they trade him. And they do the same thing with Tyreek Hill. They franchise tag Tyreek Hill, and then they found a way to trade him, and they worked with Tyreek Hill saying, hey, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Hey, this compensation is close enough for us. That's what we're going to do. Like, that's the two options. They're not just going to have him play and then let him walk. He's too good to not at least franchise tag. And the Chiefs need to find a way to make sure that they got that money on there when they franchise tag him. And then they're not going to pay him that money because it'll be north of 31 million. So then you just say, all right, tag him, and somebody will offer us, a first round or a second round pick. So at least get a second round pick going into next year's draft that we wouldn't have gotten, even though we won't have Chris Jones. Which is more likely in your estimation?
To me, I still think the most likely scenario is that they get a long-term deal done, and this goes by the wayside. The idea of anything getting done right now as far as a trade standpoint, and Brett Veach addressed that. That's not happening doing right now. No. That would be very difficult to do now. But if Chris wants the money and wants the deal, I mean, the downside risk of him trying to play out this year of his contract, because he's playing for he's playing for $1 million less than he was with the fines that are going to be thrown in there. So he's already cost himself money. But even if he went out and had another, say, 15.5 sack season next year, he goes out there and now he's tagged, which limits, the teams that he could go to. Chiefs can absolutely do that. But, now he's a 30-year-old defensive tackle. And that's the best case scenario. And I think best case scenario, he still doesn't have a deal that matches what the Chiefs are probably putting on the table right now, because he's going to be 30 and teams are going to be very hesitant about that. What they'd be willing to give up and draft pick compensation. I mean, we're not talking about a, 26, 27-year-old Tyreek Hill. We're talking about a 30-year-old who's had some injuries in the past. And, that's best case. Otherwise, Chris Jones misses a couple of games, anything like that. And $70 million guaranteed, not on the table next spring. I mean, you're maybe talking $40 million. That's the kind of thing that can cost you tens of millions of dollars. So I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, these two sides need each other. So I think they still get it done. That's the most likely scenario, but I do worry about the aftermath afterwards and how long it's going to take for any bad feelings that have resulted from this to go away.
All righty. Do you think a deal still gets done?
I do. I mean, and at every deadline that's been set on this is just blown right by. But this weekend with the fine stepping up, and if Chris Jones doesn't report for the preseason game, that is a 1 week salary dock on top of the $50,000 per day during training camp. So now you're talking about $1.1 million. That's real money. So
well, he's already fined $900,000 up until today. If we're at day 18.
And when I get it, I mean, you're talking about, if we're talking about Chris Jones maybe getting $70 million guaranteed, and a lot of that in the first, couple of years. Well, $1 or $2 million doesn't really matter that much. Then again, at the same point, I mean, it is going to start totaling up here really, really fast. So I think it gets done. Still, if it's not done by this weekend, I would be really surprised. There's just, I think, too much motivation for both sides to get it done.
All right. I like it. You're keeping me optimistic. After I read the piece from Jesse Newell and the Kansas City Star, I got a little, I turned into a little Debbie Downer there. So you've brought me back up. By Sunday's important. He has to report by Sunday or it's another $1 million. Now we're looking at, he's down $2 million, which blows my mind, but they live in a different tax bracket than I do. Talking with our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick. All right. Charles Omenihu, 6 games. They thought it was going to be 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were certainly hoping it would be a little bit less than that. Especially, the circumstances around this are still a little murky. He was only arrested on the suspicion, and I say only because we're talking on a sliding scale of the NFL standards for this. So there have obviously been much, much worse incidents, but he was arrested on the suspicion of domestic violence. Hasn't been a conviction that's come out of it or anything of that nature. So the Chiefs were hoping, especially, I think when the Alvin Kamara suspension came out, they were hoping that maybe it would still be on the lighter side. But the NFL obviously, as they should, takes a much more aggressive stance, I think, on partner violence and domestic violence than they do with stranger violence. Which you could argue that's a different case, and could argue the pros and the cons on both sides of that. But NFL has their policy. It was probably optimistic to hope it was only going to be 2 or 4 games. 6 games has pretty much become the standard. And his contract was obviously built for that because most of his contract this season is part of the signing bonus. He only has like about a $1 million base. So money-wise, it won't cost Charles Omenihu much, but it is going to cost the Chiefs 6 games of his services.
How much of an impact is that?
It's a good question because, one obviously is that it does mean that, a guy that maybe wasn't going to make this roster is going to make it now. I think it also brings up the likelihood of, do you consider bringing in some outside help? Now, the Chiefs, with the salary cap as right now, even if they wanted to sign somebody like Carlos Dunlap, they couldn't.
Yeah.
They don't have the money for him. Even like a veteran minimum exception, they couldn't even quite handle right now. So the Chris Jones has to get done before that. But I think it does make it possible. Hey, Charles Omenihu's not in there. What have you got? You probably have a rotation of George Karlaftis, Mike Dana, Malik Herring, Joshua Kando probably becomes possible now. Felix obviously is going to make the team too. But you look quite a bit different. And then when you factor in that Mike Dana has been banged up and only just now getting back out there, is he going to be fully 100% football ready at the beginning of the season for a full workload? That's a good question. It definitely impacts things for the first month and a half of the season. So, I could certainly see some moves coming to counter that and to deal with it.
All righty. Felix Uzama, how does he look?
He seems to be looking more and more comfortable to me. Spagnuolo talked about him today, that he's earned more reps and he's been getting some more work with the ones. He was certainly limited in camp early because he had no off-season program with the surgery that he had during the off-season. So he's really only been, football going at it now for, maybe about a month. But I think you're starting to see something. I think he's starting to pop up. He looks to be stronger, a little bit faster than he did at the beginning of camp. Certainly getting an opportunity to play with the ones, I think, is good for him. Gets him accustomed to that speed. They want to get him on that chart where like Steve Spagnuolo likes to do, is like pointing his arm up in the air where he's ascending up the hill. Not quite there yet, but I think you can see signs that it's starting to click for him.
Does this put more pressure on Felix Uzama and Dana and Karlaftis with Omenihu going down, or they needed to be good no matter what?
Well, probably a little bit of both. They need to be good no matter what. But, I think you have to, especially you're just coming off a year when you had George Karlaftis that you drafted, and you saw the learning curve. You need a half season before things start to click. And, you're probably going to be waiting until mid-season before it really starts to click for Felix, and then you're going to be comfortable with him being part of the rotation. To me, I think the most pressure is on Karlaftis because he was so good in the second half of the season, showed so much promise and showed, evidence of it really starting to come together for him, that you're hoping he comes out of the box that being that same guy. He can be the guy that, based on the second half of last season, can be a double-digit sack guy this year. If he's not, that's going to be tough for this Chiefs defense. But then we also bring us back to everything else, which is that those edges are only going to be as good as Chris Jones is. And how good is Chris Jones going to be, depending on when he gets in here.
Concern level for L'Jarius Sneed's knee.
It's raising for me. Certainly Andy Reid's explanation yesterday was, I concerned me a little bit more in that, they're talking about trying to get that inflammation down so that he's entering the season in a good space, and that he's not dealing with the swollen knee going on. But this is becoming, kind of just a recurring condition. I mean, that's just, you'll wonder if it is something that Legarius is going to have it repaired at some point. Not this season. I mean, that'd have to be an off-season thing, but he's been dealing with this on and off for a while. And so, yeah, having it pop up again and having this extended period off, I think it's a concern, especially if you're just, really crossing your fingers that you're getting him 100% ready for the beginning of the season, and then hoping it doesn't pop up again and hoping that he's ready from a game speed standpoint. I mean, that's a lot of crossing your fingers there. So, yeah, not like a blazing red level yet, but that's an orange level concern for me at this point of how long he's been out.
If they don't sign Chris Jones, do you think they sign L'Jarius Sneed?
I mean, I think it'd be hard to at this point. I mean, you wonder a little bit about, because, we talked about it before, Brett Veach has expressed a preference to wanting to sign guys after year 3 if there's somebody that you want to keep. And he's let a lot of guys walk. Obviously, if they didn't get him signed after year 3, he's let him go. So I would be thinking at this point that if L'Jarius Sneed, Willie Gay don't have extensions in their hands right now, I would have to assume that the Chiefs are probably going to let them walk if they get a better deal elsewhere.
The way that they find the corners, it seems like everywhere, because Nick Jones has had a good camp already, and we'll see how Nick Jones does as another guy that they got in the 7th round that you don't need to pay, especially now that McDuffie even said that he, looks good and likes playing in the slot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can't really fault their strategy because it's working, which is that if you're not going to sign your guys, you got to keep the pipeline going, and they've now done it. I mean, how many drafts is this in a row where they basically have been hitting on their secondary, and their scouting staff is even doing it when they're not. I mean, Charvarius Ward wasn't a drafted guy. That was an undrafted guy that they traded for because they liked him so much. Nick Jones, I think, has looked really good. Navi Johnson was having an outstanding camp before the injury. And you've already got, 3 rookies from last year, or 4 rookies with Brian Cook that are playing well. And we haven't even talked about Echo Boydo, who is, I don't think he's going to make this team, but he should absolutely make the practice squad. And if he can prove that, being 177 pounds isn't a detriment at that position, he's got the link to be a really good corner and has really impressed the coaches. So they seem to keep finding him. They've got a model, and whatever it is, it's working right now for the secondary guys.
Alrighty, 2 for the road is really just one question. Final number for Chris Jones, average per year, will be what?
I think it's got to be 28 to probably save face on both sides. So I think it's going to be 28 million average over, I'm going to say 3 years with an option for a 4th. It'll probably be a little bit more, but it'll basically be a 3-year, $28 million deal. And I'm guessing it's going to be at least 70 million guaranteed.
We appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much, Matt. Have a good one.
You too, Jake. Take care, everybody.
Matt Derrick, ChiefsDigest.com. Mic'd up with Jake and Fulton coming to you on this Tuesday. Got Royals baseball coming up tonight. Trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak.
They've already lost 3 in a row, Jake.
Trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak.
That's correct. There it is, buddy.
Yeah, they did. They lost 2 in a row.
They lost 2 in a row. That's to the
Yeah.
Phillies, and they lost
Yeah.
last night because Vic Carapaz had to make everything about himself. Screw him. Screw all umpires.
Not all umpires. You're
I'll lump them all together
you're
at this
lumping
point.
together.
I will say this.
You're lumping together.
I'm hijacking a moment here.
You're lumping. Don't lump.
I'll be less lumpy. I'll try.
Okay.
Laz Diaz last night got an earful from Aaron Boone, which also included Aaron Boone imitating Laz Diaz's strikeout call, which was one of the funniest ways I've seen a manager ejected in a while.
That was pretty funny.
Aaron Boone had a point. Umpire scorecards on Twitter is a great follow if you're a baseball person. It's a statistical way where they're grading umpires every day. Laz Diaz is called strike accuracy. The average is 88%.
And a called strike it's a strike in the strike zone according to the pitch track.
You are saying your called strikes are only in the zone. You get penalized and the accuracy goes lower for mainly calling strikes out of the zone.
A ball that
there's
you
a
call
called ball accuracy for other things as well.
That's why I wanted you to
Yes, no, that's very important.
Strikes in the strike zone is you get graded. If you
if you see that pitch 2 inches off the plate's a strike, you get dinged for called strike accuracy because you're not correct.
Yes.
So higher is better, like any accuracy point. The average is 88%. Do you know where Laz Diaz was last night?
Below that.
Well below it. 66%.
Ooh.
He had an overall run favor of plus 1.59 runs for the White Sox.
Yeah.
This is it's a disgusting chart. Like, Aaron Boone had a point. Aaron Boone had a right to get run out of yesterday's game because I would have done the same.
I'm disappointed in Matt Cotrero that he didn't at least say something more in the postgame. I'm getting a little bit fed up with the lack of now. It is, and I understand it. It's who cares because you're 36 and 78. You know, there's a couple ways you can view it. Why are you going to get riled up if you're 36 and 78 when this upcoming year is going to be a completely different roster than this year?
There's going to be an overhaul.
I get that. But there is a little bit of you got to show something because a lot of people don't like it if you're really stoic and you don't show a lot of emotion, you know, unless you're Jay Wright, then you're considered cool.
Yeah.
You know, like Dave Aranda, like when they won the Big 12, he didn't even show any emotion. But there are certain instances when you need to do something, dude. I get Matt Cotrero is a very not even keeled. Dude has a resting heart rate of like 8, okay?
Which is part of the reason they hired him.
And that's understandable. But there are times when you need to publicly show that you are defending your guy.
So here's what I'll say to that. I have 2 points to that. One, he showed it on the field. That is as animated as I've seen Matt Cotrero arguing with Vic Carapazza. Like, he was going to get ejected no matter what he said because he was arguing balls and strikes, and that is an immediate automatic ejection. He was more animated than I've ever seen him arguing that. Also, he's been ejected. I think now this is twice in the past 4 games he's been ejected. Like, that's different. I get wanting to hear him rant and scream in the post.
Can't do something.
That is not who he is as a person, and it's not going to happen. Him, like, this is in levels, like what I was saying. No,
I'm not.
And also, he said something in post game. He did it in what is his way and his style, but he openly said, "I disagree. I think he was wrong. He had his way. His ruling is what it is. I disagreed." And I know a lot of people want to see him scream and go crazy and, you know, maybe throw some chairs. That's not who he is and will never be who he is. That's why, like you have to take every manager or coach, their reaction level has to be gauged within and of it. Like,
correct. I'm not disagreeing with
a little bit of this is a semi great good comparison, also not perfect. Andy Reid never says anything. We talk about that all the time. Mm-hmm. Andy is political answer to the vest, does not call out players, staff, no one. He just keeps everything in house. It was not a massive thing about what he said, but when he name dropped Rashee Rice during rookie minicamp, pointing out he's got all this stuff. To everyone else that goes, oh, okay, he name dropped a player, whatever. To us, we're like, oh, that's because it was so outside of his range. That's what, like, I get. People want Matt Cotrero to get the red ass and get crazy and be loud because you want to see it
a little bit more than I disagree. That's not what honestly, that's not what I'm truly my rankings of where I'm upset with Matt Cotrero. The day that he didn't try to go for the no-hitter in the perfect game.
That's fine. That's fine.
Second. Okay, this is third.
Yeah, the
second. Okay, the second.
Yeah.
You didn't let Zach Greinke hit, you coward.
I agree. No, that's my number one thing. He didn't let Zach Greinke hit. I'm still upset about it. But yeah, no.
That's number 3. So
I
just want a little bit more.
I get it. I understand that is an old school way of thinking, and that's one of the few old school ways of thinking I'm not entirely against. If I was the manager, I would be louder than Matt Cotrero is, but that's who I am in the moment.
Sometimes you got to do stuff a little differently,
and you do. And
maybe we just disagree.
And I will say this, though. I think we're getting a tiny bit of it. Because, again, Q, a guy who, in all the tense moments, was never saying jack. Things have been ejected twice in the past 4 games. And I know one ejection is considered automatic because he's arguing balls and strikes. Yeah. He was going to get that no matter what he said. He was animated last night giving Vic Carapazza an earful. He didn't go full Aaron Boone and, start doing the animations. I don't know if you need to do that. But
I need that. All right, let's get to some college news
Guess
here.
What we were planning on doing.
And I thought about this. All right?
Yes.
In 2035, 12 years from now.
Oh, I don't want to think about 12 years from now.
Okay.
When I'm 39.
Okay.
When you're 50?
Yeah. 2035, yeah.
So when you're 50 and I'm 39, well, we're just
Yep.
two old timers
Yep.
shooting the breeze.
Yep. You're not.
I know.
You calling me an old timer right now?
That's another part I
Damn.
was waiting for.
Dang, that's hard.
That's kind of the part I was
But
waiting for there.
I I want to know this, okay?
Yeah.
And I think Mike Gundy is right.
Don't say that very often.
Mike Gundy earlier this year spoke to Max Olson. Max tweeted this out. Said Gundy said this. They're going to pay big money to put it on TV. And he says, everybody talks to me about wanting us to play on Friday night. I said, who does? They said TV. Gundy says, I think that's great. What about the high school conflict? He goes, I love high school football, but high school ain't paying my bills. All right. It's all what TV people want. What do you want? They don't care what I want. It's what TV wants. TV runs the show. I don't run the show, says Mike Gundy. TV pays for all of our salaries, our scholarships, everything we do. Television runs the market. Whatever they want, that's what we do. It almost happened in soccer. I think it's eventually going to happen in college athletics. You ready for this? When will, because the TV people don't care about rivalries. TV people don't care about location. TV people don't care about all that, because if they did, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. And everybody's greedy. Everybody wants more, right? If you asked, Alabama, Auburn, and the SEC, hey, instead of $80 million a year, we'll give you $120 million a year. What do you think they're going to do? Take the $120 million. It almost happened in soccer. The Super League. Why does Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Real Madrid, FC Barca, Juventus, Bayern Munich. Who else am I missing here? That's big time. Atletico Madrid, There was a chance that we were going to have a Super League in soccer, and all of those teams were going to play each other. And the Champions League would cease to exist, because the Champions League would be this Super League, right?
Mm-hmm.
That almost happened.
It did.
But the problem was that soccer people are traditionalists.
Oh yeah, they are.
Over in Europe, the
football is for everyone.
The soccer folks in England and Spain and Italy and Germany, there's enough traditionalist, diehard fans and teams like the Nottingham Forests and like the Fulhams of the world, that there were enough fans that said, no, we're not going to do that. And there was enough pushback. I don't know if there will be enough pushback, because when do TV executives look at this and not see we can make college athletics like the NFL? Why not have two divisions of 16 and make it like the NFL? Is ESPN making money off Vanderbilt?
Nope.
Is ESPN making money off Rutgers?
Nope.
Is ESPN making money off Purdue?
Nope.
Is ESPN making money off of Oregon State?
Nope.
Is ESPN making money off of Houston?
Nope.
I can keep going. Is ESPN making money off of even a team like Illinois?
Nope.
So why are they paying them $70 million? Do you get where I'm coming from?
I do.
Here's what I wonder. Eventually, when all these contracts figure out that the TV people now, because a lot of numbers are streaming and you can see the numbers and they use them, why not go to Each one of them. Why doesn't ESPN and Fox, when all the... This is how I think you might be able to tell. If all the TV contracts line up. All the TV contracts line up.
They all start lining up with their end dates?
With their end dates. And it's... Then why doesn't ESPN and Fox... Why doesn't Fox say to ESPN, you take 16, we'll take 16. Why not we do that? So then you take the top 32 programs and they form their own deal. They're their own conference. Now, I think there's a decent chance that happens because in Europe with the Super League of Soccer, there are too many traditionalists.
Mm-hmm.
We have already proven traditionalists are not a thing in the United States because of 115-year conference was evaporated like that.
Missouri, 100-plus-year-old conference, it got destroyed in a week.
Missouri, now it wasn't a week. It was more, Larry Scott started it, just a while. But we it was shown tradition doesn't matter.
Yeah. Nope.
Missouri and Kansas tradition don't matter.
Nope.
A&M Texas don't matter. West
Oklahoma
Virginia,
State
doesn't
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
So what says that? And even Gundy says they're going to pay big money to put it on TV, and those 32 schools are going to thrive. They're going to be rich. They're going to be rich, and their sports are going to thrive. And then the other schools that don't make it, they're just going to have to hold on. What says they don't say the top 32 teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the top 25 poll right now in college football. And this is maybe why don't they do that for football? Why don't they do that for football? And Muffet McGraw, who is a famous women's basketball head coach, Notre Dame.
Muffet ruled.
She says this: time to stop whining about where college football is headed and figure out how to save the rest of college sports. Let football break with the NCAA and form their own league, and let college basketball and the Olympic sports continue their conference model. There has to be another way to preserve all of that college athletics that give their athletes the experience they deserve. We've been saying this from day one.
Yes,
Football
we've been championing that.
And that's what I think Keisha needs to do. I think Keisha needs to say, football, you're its own damn deal. Don't lump anything else. Football, it doesn't have leagues. Get rid of leagues. I would do districts, and you're going to anger a lot of people, but I don't care. That's what it should be. Because right now, football ruined the Centennial League. Football, that ruined the Centennial League. That's the reason why we've got the United Kansas Conference, everything. Football should be its own deal where you play your same size schools, all right, for the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what should happen. It's not, though, because we don't have a commissioner. We don't have anybody in charge. It's a bunch of old people. Football needs to be its own deal, and its own television contracts. And if you want to lump in basketball, fine, so be it. So basketball and football and then everything else. That's okay.
The Olympic sports should be an entirely different conference setup because they are run entirely differently.
Yes. And they're not making money. They're not.
No.
There's probably...
But that's not their purpose even.
There are 20 baseball programs in the country that make money probably. That's about it. So,
and they're all in the SEC.
But what it doesn't... It wouldn't stun me if you just look at the top 25 football poll. All right. Here is, in fact, did the AP poll come out today?
I don't believe so.
I thought it did.
Thought it comes out Friday.
Oh, is it Friday?
I thought it was.
Oh, darn. Okay,
I could be wrong, but I thought it was Friday.
It might be.
That was going to be a nice little classic Friday news dump.
Okay, so the top 25 college football poll, the coaches poll was released yesterday.
Yeah.
How many of the top 25 would be in the top 32 of an ESPN
would be
conference?
In this massive league.
Yeah.
Super league.
Okay. Okay. God, why can't sometimes I hate the internet.
Always.
I just want it, just list it to me in the order. I don't need photos. I just want the number. I hate it. Okay. Georgia. Yes, they're in, obviously. Michigan.
In.
Yes. Ohio State. Yes. Bama, Louisiana, Penn State, Florida State, Clemson, Tennessee, Washington, Texas, Notre Dame, Utah. Would Utah make it? Would Utah be a top 32 team?
Nope.
Okay.
Utes are out.
Utes are out. Oregon.
They might sneak in.
Oregon. Yes. TCU.
Out.
Okay. K-State.
Sorry, guys. Out.
Oregon State.
Out.
Oklahoma.
In.
North Carolina.
Fringe team.
No, North Carolina's in. North Carolina is in. Wisconsin,
In.
Ole Miss,
And their SEC.
Tulane, no.
Out.
Texas Tech,
Out.
A&M.
Fringe.
Okay. So now you've got Iowa.
Fringe.
I think they're in. South Carolina, in. Florida, in. UTSA, no. Pittsburgh,
No.
no. UCLA,
Yes.
Kentucky,
No. I think they're an SEC that's left out.
okay. Baylor,
No.
Arkansas.
No.
Well, you got to fill 32 here.
I know,
Fulton.
but still.
NC State, Auburn, yes.
Yes.
Minnesota,
Yes.
Miami,
Yeah.
Mississippi State, Oklahoma State,
No. No.
Missouri,
No.
Maryland,
No.
Illinois, Washington State, Houston, Duke, BYU, Arizona, Memphis. I mean, you got to put together 32 of them.
Yeah.
Who doesn't make the cut? I think there's a chance that this is going to happen. Unless something...
Whether it becomes the 32-team Super League or just the fact that football breaks away, the biggest thing I will say is more confident anything. Football's breaking away. Like, we can quibble over a 32-team super conference. We can quibble over, some football programs and some out. I can guarantee to you, football is breaking away. Football is going to establish their own governing body because it's just such an independent thing. It drives so many things by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It will be its own thing. We can argue over what that looks like in some of the parts. Football's breaking away. And it will happen sometime in the 2030s. I don't know when in the 2030s. Sometime in the 2030s, football is going to be its own governing body. Basketball might come with it, but it's going to be its own thing.
We'll get a quick timeout. We went way long on this, but it's a fun topic. We will put together a list very, very quickly, and then we will bring in Brendan Dworzynski for a little crosstalk. Alrighty, our list today is going to be a quick one. It is National Pickleball Day today, so we're going to go with recreational sports.
Things you just love to do at the rec.
Okay.
Number 4 for me. You need too many guys to do it. I'm bad at it, but give me some good basketball at the rec outside. It's a good time.
Number 4 for me, pickleball.
Oh, that's a good call.
I haven't played pickleball in a while, but I've played it before. A lot of fun.
That's fair. Number 3 for me, soccer. Again, I'm bad at, but if you get enough guys together, it's a good time.
Number 3 for me, swimming.
That's a good call.
Swimming in your pool. Go to the pool.
That's a good one.
That's a recreational activity.
It is.
I love taking my kids to the pool. My son loves the pool. Team pool.
Pools are nice. Pools are a very good time, especially in like 118 degree
Pools
heat.
are great in 70-degree weather, 80-degree weather, 90-degree weather, anything.
They do.
Pools are great, especially if they're heated.
Number 2 for me, tennis. I love playing tennis. It's so much fun.
Tennis, to me, is too much like golf. And I don't
Okay.
play tennis because it's a very skilled sport, you know.
Fair enough.
You have
fair
to be
enough.
like if you're gonna be it takes a while to
It does.
be good at tennis.
Oh, it does.
Number 2 for me, cornhole, aka bags. However you
Because
vernacular.
cornhole is not bags. You're wrong if you call it bags.
I mean, I'll call it bags. You want to play bags?
No, it's cornhole.
You can call it bags.
It's cornhole.
You can call it bags. So I've got bags at number 2.
Number 1 for me is cornhole. That's such a fun thing to do, and there's nothing more fun than just vibing it. It is a great if you just get a bunch of people together and go, hey, while we talk and chill and hang, you want to set up 2 boards and throw some beanbags around? It's a great time. Cornhole rules, so it's my number 1.
Is that a whole, where are you from?
For bags versus cornhole?
Yeah,
Yes, it's a regional dialect.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Number 1, it's golf. It's golf.
Fair.
Or golf
Fair.
without the L. That's the answer. The answer is golf. The answer is golf or bags, mostly because you can drink while doing either of them.
Exactly.
Hard to. Actually, the more I look at it, my top 3 kind of.
You can drink all those top 3.
Yeah, an adult beverage there.
I figured something out there.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Brandon Dworzinski here on Mic'd Up. Coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, we got some odds makers. That 7-game winning streak is thus being canceled out by a 3-game winning streak. So therefore, maybe we go back to...
No, that's not what you said.
Yeah.
That's not what you said, Jake.
Yeah, but we might have to go back on it. We'll have to wait and see.
Going back on your word. You
Yeah.
hate to see it.
Well, if they lose 7 in a row, then that cancels out that 7-game winning streak.
Now that's
There you
fair.
go. Okay.
But they haven't lost 7 in a row.
They're
Lost
close.
3 in a row.
They're almost halfway there.
I'm
They're almost halfway there.
I have a question.
Brendan Dorzinski joining us, as he needed to mention that before I could introduce
Interjecting
him.
himself here.
Hello, Brendan.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you need to wait for a 7-game losing streak to cancel out the winning streak, or do you just say that winning streak already canceled out one of the 7-game losing streaks?
Well, it's a 10-game losing streak.
Okay, canceled out most of the 10-game losing streak.
He makes a good point.
Nah, I don't really care.
Okay.
I'm not going to fight it too much on
All
a
right.
team that's won 36 games.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough, my man. I'm not fighting a lot of things for this team.
It's pretty rough.
Just
So
gonna-
what are the Royals on pace for now?
I think 100 after the loss yesterday, I think 109.
Something like that.
I think.
Cool.
It's not great.
Cool.
It's not great.
I can tell you they're on pace for 51 wins.
So that's 51.
So that's still 111
111.
losses.
111? Okay. Off
It's chasing history.
Hey,
10
man,
points.
50 wins at least. That's the...
I can't. No, don't say that sentence. Do not say 50 wins at least. No. Fulton, you deserve better in your life than saying things like that. You
No.
deserve more.
No, the only answer is
Thank you, Brendan.
is 106. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they lose 107, they might as well lose 150.
They're chasing history.
Hey.
It's for horses.
Yes, that is true.
Straw's cheaper. Grass is free. Cows eat all 3. Yeah.
That's true. Nice little rhyme there. As long as they don't have the worst record in modern Major League history, we're still something to fight for.
Well, the A's are going to get that. Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. They.
What are the A's at? Are the Royals?
They're-
How far are the Royals clear of the A's right now?
2 games?
So the Royals.
4 games.
They're 4 games up on the A's.
In the win column.
Okay, yeah. Then the A's will beat
The
them this year.
A's, I'm sad to report this to everyone here. The A's will not have a winning season. They now have 81 losses.
The Royals are 3.5 games better.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're 4 up in the win column, 3 up in the loss column. The A's, for what it is worth, are currently on pace to win 46 games, which would be 116 losses.
They've tied the modern day record.
Yeah.
I believe so.
How about that? How about that?
Honestly, it doesn't matter to me unless they set the all-time record. Cleveland Spiders are bust. I need you to lose 125
Man,
games.
don't bring up the Cleveland Spiders because then that just makes me irritated that they chose the name Guardians. That's so lame.
It is very funny that they legitimately chose a name just so they didn't have to change all their signage.
Yes.
They could just take off 2 letters.
Yeah, and
add Gar.
Yeah, it's so lame.
Yeah, it really is.
You could have done something really cool. Instead, you did something really lame.
Hey, look at that, Jake. You've encapsulated the last 15 years of sports.
What?
You could have done something really cool. Instead, you did something really lame.
For the most part, baseball, no question.
I'll word it this way. You've encapsulated the past 15 years of sports branded marketing. Every team has gotten more boring in the last 15 years.
So if you...
I disagree. The Royals doing the powder blues now. I love them. That's good. That's good effort.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's good effort.
Touche.
It's good effort.
Every team is more boring now, you said?
Yeah, probably pretty general with that. But for the most part, people keep going more minimalistic, and that's stupid.
I think the NFL's gotten better because they're allowing now alternate uniforms.
Okay, 1 year of difference does not cancel out my comment of the last 15.
Lawyering you right now, Fulton.
That does not cancel out my comment of the last 15. They're just now.
I
changing.
generally agree.
They are getting better. I will agree with that.
Our list today: favorite recreational activities.
Recreational sports.
Yeah, sports. What do you got?
Because there's other recreational activities that aren't sports you might like doing.
I assume you put golf number 1?
Yeah, golf number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, bags.
Yeah,
Cornhole.
bags is up there.
I'm going to whack both of you.
Yeah, it's bags.
Get him off the air.
I was born
Stop
north of the Mason-Dixon line. It's bags.
You're all wrong.
Is that the deal?
Roughly.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Roughly,
it's a largely northern southern thing. The further you go north,
the more likely you are to find people to say bags.
yeah. Like if you are in like our part of the country or
It's
like
pretty mixed.
southern Illinois, you're probably pretty mixed.
But like you
Although-
like Minnesota, it's all bags.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm sorry to distract from the question. If you go to like somewhere in the mid-south in Illinois, you're like just a hair north of Carbondale, Illinois, you might as well be in backwoods Alabama. It is a different country. Like Illinois, Chicago, and Illinois, literally everything else might as well. They might not be 2 different states; they're 2 different countries. It's absurd.
I can see that.
They got
That's very funny.
there are accents that are so thick I cannot understand them. I'm serious.
This is very
One of my
funny
best
to me.
friends growing up, his dad was it Warrensburg, Illinois? Met his parents, couldn't understand a word they were saying. What language are you speaking? Anyway, to your point,
I think I call it. I think I'm trying to now think because I hear, but I think most people that I am with and hang out, I think they call it bags.
I call it bags. I would put darts on the list. I like darts.
Ooh, that's a good
I like
one.
pool. Pool is
Yeah,
not
that's a
nearly
good one
as
too.
competitive. It'll be competitive because I play with friends, but we're all so bad.
What do both pool and darts have that my top 3 do?
You can drink during them.
Yes.
We found out quickly Jake's list was full of just activities he could do while drinking.
She just like to drink.
Well, I mean, golf takes a little time, you gotta have it.
Yeah, the swing juice.
There ain't nothing better than a vodka lemonade on the golf course.
Yeah, you get a drink and a hot dog at the turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, truly, it's what you do.
Cornhole and bags. The rule is you gotta hold a beer in one hand and throw it the other.
Often is a rule in the game.
Sure.
I will say, for
Swimming.
what it's worth, me as king of there are semantical differences based upon region. We should respect those. The fact that I am fairly anti calling it bags is very hypocritical of me, and I will admit that. As when Jake and I have had the coyote debate, and I've been very strong, let them call it coyote in the Southwest.
Well, it is a coyote.
Well, this region is coyote. It's a
I grew
regional
up saying
dialect
coyote.
difference.
Well, no.
They don't call the movie Coyote Ugly.
Well, you're not wrong.
They called the universe. I grew up in Salina, God's
Kansas
country.
Wesleyan's the coyote.
The coyotes, the yotes. They're the yotes.
Who is more famous? The film and series of bars across the United States, Coyote Ugly, or the Kansas Wesleyan University Coyotes?
That's a fair point, Brendan.
Which do more people know?
That's a fair point, Brendan. The point does still stand. There is a regional difference between the way the word is pronounced.
I'm a fan of that movie.
I'm sure you are.
Wow, Jake's a fan of Coyote Ugly. Big shock.
Coyote Ugly. I'm gonna start calling it
Coyote
Ugly.
Ugly.
Coyote Ugly.
Hey, you want to watch a movie tonight? Yeah, let's watch Coyote Ugly.
Hey, I'm gonna say that to my wife tonight.
Please do.
And, see
And let us know the
what
reaction.
she said.
Let us know how
Coyote
weirdly
Ugly.
she looks at you and goes, "What are you talking
I wonder
about?"
if she'll even know what the movie I'm talking about.
She might be very
Coyote Ugly.
confused. Where
Yeah.
were we even going? Where are we going with
That's
all
an
this?
underdog movie, to be honest with you.
I don't know if I go that far.
Upstate, goes to the city.
It's a perfectly fine film.
It's an underdog movie. Everyone should love that. It's like a, it's like almost like a fable. Hey, you know what? Keep trying. Overcome your fears.
Jake.
What a
Over-
spin.
Jake,
Overcome
you gotta,
your fears.
buddy. You gotta take some spin off that.
No, there's no spin on that. There is no difference between that movie and,
I'm excited to hear the end of this sentence.
the underdog theme than Hoosiers. What is
All
the
right,
difference?
so we're comparing Coyote Ugly to Hoosiers.
Give me the difference.
Well, one of them is a good movie. The other one is Hoosiers.
Yo, I understand
Well done,
you
Brendan.
hate Rudy, but you can't hate Hoosiers. Like,
Rudy is such a bad movie.
I'll give you Rudy, although
Man,
we
learning
have now-
Brendan
we-
despised
we
Rudy
na-
was a
hey,
revelation
we
to
now
me.
have true, solid footage. He was not offsides. He wasn't.
I dispute that.
He wouldn't.
Rudy was offsides.
Then you're no better than Vic Capazio.
You know what the funniest thing
Carapaza
about Rudy is?
Doesn't matter.
Is
He's
that in
terrible.
real life, all of his teammates hated him.
I didn't argue.
I know.
that.
I am making a sidebar.
You are changing the subject.
Joe
because you were
Montana-
wrong.
Joe Montana talking about Rudy Rudiger is so funny. Yeah, we hated him. He was a loser. Nobody liked him.
He did say that. All righty. Date in which Chris Jones will, as we try to steer back. But I stand by my Hoosiers and Coyote Ugly
the same type of film.
is the underdog, upstate, not in the big time, finding a way to the top.
Sure.
No, there's not sure. That's
Sure.
correct.
Okay.
Chris Jones, not an underdog story. Date in which Chris Jones will sign his extension, or maybe he won't in your mind.
I will say August 21st, Monday, August 21st. 5 days before the preseason finale.
So he's going to miss 2 preseason games,
Yeah.
2 game checks.
So we're looking. He's going to lose.
He's already lost $1 million.
Yeah.
That part clearly doesn't mean a whole lot. Also, you don't get paid for the preseason.
Yeah, you do. Matt Derrick says you get a game check for the preseason, or like a some type of check.
Interesting. I
It
didn't
may
know
not
that.
be a full game check, but our sources indicate you do
Yeah.
get paid for
I did
those
not know
games.
that. All right. Matt knows more than I do, obviously.
Yeah, no offense. I kind of hope.
No,
he does.
I mean,
He's a little
yeah,
more
it's-
plugged
there's-
in than you are.
No dispute from me on that. Yeah, I would say before the preseason is over, he will either report as is or he will report with a new contract. I assume that'll be the case.
Show up, ramp up, do
Yeah.
the final preseason game, be
Yeah.
ready to go week 1.
Yeah. We'll
That's
get
fair.
the whole, is he going to play? Is Andy Reid going to play him in the third preseason game? No, he's not. Even if he was here already, he would not be playing in that game. But yeah, I think he'll get a few days in camp. I think it'll be a while.
Does it change your opinion at all that we've entered the Chiefs are using the media to play the game?
No, I mean, I feel like that's been the case for a while now, honestly.
See, my thought, my thing, and I said this yesterday, it felt like no one, like we had one time of someone playing the game, which was the report that the two sides were far apart. Since then, no one's played the media card, really.
See,
Until
I think
today.
I would argue that the Chiefs making it clear to Adam Schefter early in this process that they are willing to pay him and they want him back and they need him and all that. I think that was essentially a play through the media.
Okay.
Because you
Not
can
a strong one. That's just the generic normal play. Though.
But it's still playing the game. I get Brendan's point.
Yeah, because now it's a defense mechanism, if nothing else, because if it works out, hey, the Chiefs got their guy. Brett Veach got his guy. If it doesn't work out, then it's, well, hey, the Chiefs wanted to. We've got a report on paper. The Chiefs wanted to get this done. That, to me, was a little bit of playing the media game because they got out in front and said, no, we want him back. We're going to pay him. We'll give him what he's worth. He's a part of this. And we have since gotten to the point we are at now, and I'm surprised that he hasn't signed at this point. But now I would not be surprised that if he doesn't sign until shortly before week 1. Really wouldn't be surprised at this point. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's back sooner than that, but we'll see. Andy Reid certainly does. Andy Reid's quotes are not. Sometimes he'll get really into something. Sometimes he'll really go on for a while about something.
The rules for special teams.
Yes.
Hated that. Hates the fair catch you get at 25. Doesn't like that. Let's put flags on it.
It's a little Belichick-like, except Andy's not a jerk to the media. He just doesn't have a lot to say sometimes. Fine.
We're on to the Jets.
But he does. You can always tell when it's the preseason and he's not happy about something, or it's training camp and he's not happy about something, like someone holding out, not being there, not practicing. You get the thing like what he said yesterday, the game's fast. Yeah, it'll help him to be out here. You get real short, curt. Like, it's like your dad saying something about you to someone, right? Like, yeah, he's got to be out here, but he's not. Yeah, he should be at work today.
Man, I wish
not.
my dad
He
was
should have
that
moved-
short-winded.
He should have moved out of the house, but he hasn't. Like, oh, shoot, maybe I should. Maybe I should get a job. That's kind of what that would feel like to me, I think.
I'm with you.
I feel like Andy Reid a lot of times says a lot without saying a lot when he does those.
Yeah.
Game goes fast.
Yeah.
That's how he ended his press conference. Yeah. Game goes fast.
You're right.
Game went fast.
Not wrong.
So, what would if he plays this year and plays at his normal level, they franchise tag him, could they get a first for him? Is he good enough that you get a first? Because not a lot of teams now like to do the whole give up compensation and pay the guy. Have you noticed that? They don't like to do that. But I think Chris Jones, you'd be able to get a first for. It'd be just like the Tyreek Hill trade. I don't think you get as much as Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill's younger.
No. Yeah, he's younger. He plays a different position.
But it's the most important position on the defensive side, pass rusher. Getting to the quarterback, I don't care where you're located. Interior, exterior, doesn't matter. I think you'd get a first for him if you tagged him at the end of the year. And then you trade. It'd just be like
I don't
Tyreek
think
Hill.
you might be able to, depending on the team, maybe. You're going to factor in the age. You're going to factor in what his future might look like. The issue for teams that would want to trade for him is that it only takes one who does want to extend him. It only takes one who says, no, we'll give him 4 years. Sure, we'll pay him until he's 34 or 33, whatever. We'll do it. Because then that's going to drive up the bidding cost, obviously. I was looking at, real quick, what the Giants had to give up to get Leonard Williams when they traded for him. Williams was much younger, obviously, because he just signed his big contract just this offseason. They traded the Jets for a guy who was 23, I think. They traded a third and a fifth. Yeah, a third and a fifth. Williams is a good player. He was younger at the time. Chris Jones is
older
right now, the best defensive tackle in football until we see what Aaron Donald is this year, I think.
Yeah, does he give us the good old college try?
Yeah. And if he just phones it in, I have no problem saying Chris Jones right now is the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL. If Aaron Donald is healthy, comes out and
Looks like Aaron Donald.
That's why he's one of the greatest defensive players of all time. Okay, Jones, solidly number 2. But yeah, I don't think you'd get any more than a single first. Maybe you get a second and a late. But
I think that would be the goal. Is that you? But also, it's a smaller pool because you're not going to trade him into anybody in the AFC.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So, but those are the two options. You're not just gonna let him walk. Here. Good luck, Chris. Thanks for the
memories.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Happy trails.
So yes, a deal still gets done.
Yeah, I do. I do think so.
Okay.
He's too important.
I'm
Too
with
good.
you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
No,
they'll get it done.
Try to make it work. Lastly, I think we're eventually going to Super League or not a super, a 32 team league split in half, 16 on each. Kind of reminds you of another, sport
NFL junior, yeah.
for college at some point in time with football. Do you agree with that? Do you eventually think ESPN and Fox will say, we don't need the Rutgers, we don't need the Vanderbilts, we don't need the Purdues, we don't need the these little tiny peons. We just need the top 32.
I used to think that.
You don't think that now?
I think they might still do it. I think they have to make it bigger. I think you have to make it 40 teams. And here's why. Vanderbilt, for now, SEC route, they are a couple of different things. As college football is built right now, They are the thing that keeps the academics looking good for the SEC. That's what they do. They are an easy win. That is important. And they are a private school. You know what private schools can do that public schools can't? They can cover up the money. They can cover things a little more easily. Same thing Northwestern does in the Big Ten. You can't cover everything, but you can do some nifty accounting when you got a private school in the mix. So for that reason, a couple of those schools, you want to keep those around.
They're your money laundering factories.
You want to keep those around. Here's the other thing. Let's say you are Penn State. Okay, so you're not the very best in the Big Ten, but you're a good program. Occasionally, maybe have a down year, but you're a good program.
There's a fourth best program. Third best program.
Third best.
There's this third best.
Well, when USC joins, probably fourth, but they're good.
Yeah.
They're in the top quarter of the new Big Ten.
Correct.
When you're having one of those down years, when you don't, Drew Allaire is their quarterback this year. No idea if Drew Allaire is any good because Sean Clifford played there for 8 years. Say maybe things aren't going so well, and you don't have a prayer against Ohio State this year. Michigan, oh boy. Michigan State's having one of their good years. That's on the road. Ooh, Land-Grant Trophy staying in East Lansing. You know, it sure would be nice to play Rutgers. Sure would be nice to get Purdue. Sure would be nice to get Indiana. I don't think you are going to cut those teams out because everybody else wants to make sure they win games. They want to make sure that they are still that brand. Because if you cut those out, do you think Penn State or
and let me say this.
Florida is going to want to be
my rebuttal?
The dregs?
My rebuttal to that is $120 million or $80 million. We've already determined that schools do it for the money because they don't care about tradition.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to offer you $40 more million to join this league, I think you'll do it. I think everybody will do it. Like,
it's possible.
The money is, everybody talks about NIL, and that's the thing that I got really upset about. How, people are still complaining, and we got the Congress getting involved in NIL and the transfer portal. How are you going to get mad at a player doing it when universities do it? I mean, the universities went into the transfer portal. They took the money. You're going to get mad at a kid for going to the transfer portal and taking the money? There's no difference. There's none.
No,
there's no difference. But I love the new Big 12. I am pumped for it. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. No,
I don't know who's going to win, and that's exciting.
Yeah, the football is going to be awesome. I think the basketball will be pretty good.
Yeah, I think overall
the depth of the basketball is going to get worse, though.
Yeah,
the best of the best, as good as any league ever. Everything else, the bottom is going to fall out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Cincinnati, UCF, not great. BYU, not great.
Yeah, BYU is going to be tough. Utah hasn't been good in 20 plus years.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Arizona State has had like 2 big wins in the last 5 years. That's it. Yeah. They beat Kansas twice. They beat KU twice.
Yeah.
What else? They haven't done anything
They're really
else.
good at making the first 4.
Yeah.
They made the first 4 of the last 2 years.
Yeah. Danny Hurley killing it.
No, Bobby. Dan's at UConn.
Yeah, Dan's the championship winner. Bob's the party guy.
Yeah. Brandon, we appreciate the time.
Talk to you guys later.
Brandon will be back at 3 o'clock for 580 Sports Talk. Coming up next, we'll hear from Steve Spagnuolo and Nick Bolton. Hour number 3, final hour of Mic'd Up with Jake and Fulton. Thank you so much for stopping by. We got some odds makers. Talk a little more Chiefs news during their training camp today. Andy Reid will meet with the media tomorrow. Then they are off Thursday, practice Friday, off Saturday, and then they play a game on Sunday. Fulton, you watching on Sunday? Entire game? I normally am good for at least 3 quarters.
I am good for at least the starter's first drive. I am locked in for that. I know, wow,
done.
big surprise. Well,
And
no.
then you're done?
So let's see. It's noon on Sunday. I will probably end up watching the whole thing because I'm going to be so wiped out from moving on Saturday.
Yeah, that's true.
That I'm probably not going to want to do anything on Sunday. So I'll probably just
You know what
sit
else?
and chill.
You know what else doesn't happen on Sunday?
No Royals.
No Royals on a Sunday.
So I found that out. I found out what happened. Like, because when the schedule released, we were all going, what the heck? Why do they have a scheduled off day? And we tried to find every conceivable reason why, and nothing made sense. So when the schedule was originally created with the Cardinals, because they do the 2 and the 2, it was going to be a Saturday, Sunday with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, though, did not have the Memorial Day game for the 2-game set that they were going to have in St. Louis. The Cardinals wanted afternoon Memorial Day. They wanted that game. And so they shifted things, but in response, the Royals said, all right, that's fine, but our 2 in Kansas City are now going to be a Friday, Saturday with a scheduled Sunday off day. There's probably a little more nuance to it than that, but that's basically what happened is for the Cardinals to get their Memorial Day game, the Royals got Sunday off.
Cool.
So that's why the Royals have Sunday off. But no, I'll watch at least the first half. No, I'll get at least that done. There's a chance I might not watch the second half if I either don't want to or I end up doing something else. But I'll at least watch the first half because then also it's when the second strings play too. And I can't lie. When we get to knee-deep Shane Bouchel's leading his 8th drive of the game, I can't lie at that. When Shane Bouchel's throwing balls to Nikhil Rumigo and he's
actually been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been good. They're the 2 random names I can think of right now. And, we got Rando McGee playing in different spots. I got Jack Cochran playing linebacker. At that point, I start checking out a little bit. I can't lie. I think there is some value to trying to watch these games, but I start checking out pretty hard.
We've got some some news again to announce that Fulton's last day will be coming up on Friday.
Mhm.
We bid adieu to Fulton, and we will have a lineup change. We are going to go back to 2 to 6 for 580 Sports Talk. Myself, Dan, and Brendan will be there from 2 to 6. So that is the scheduled change coming up for 580 WIBW. The Clay and Buck show will be from 11 to 2, leading into 580 Sports Talk. So that'll be coming up on Monday. Let's hear from Spags and Nick Bolton. Steve Spagnuolo met with the media earlier today, and here's what he had to say.
What are some of the takeaways you're seeing so far?
Yeah, so Brian's really got to become the quarterback of the defense, him and Nick, and especially the quarterback on the back end. One good thing about Brian is he's always looking for feedback. Like he came the other day, he wanted to do some more drills. That's one thing that he's got. We saw that when we were looking at him out of Cincinnati. He's working, loves football, passionate about football, and we're banking on him in that regard.
I'm just a guy who watches. It seems like the defense has done pretty good against the offense this year.
I don't. I remember all the ones when we weren't successful on. Right. We've had our moments today. The first team period that you saw was 3rd and 7 plus. Now we should, from a statistical standpoint, we should win those. We won a number of those today, which was good. The other day it was a 3rd and 2 to 4. And those were challenging. We didn't win as many. So today, maybe we had a little bit more success, but it might have been more of the situation. And the thing about that situation, I talked to the guys last night, is, we got to get them in that situation to be able to do what we do. So they've been working hard. I got no complaints with the work effort, and I enjoy working with this group. They're eager, very eager group.
Are there guys you're particularly interested in seeing play in New Orleans on Sunday?
Obviously, all the young guys that we don't know anything about, we put them all in the same category. Maybe guys that are getting off nicks and bumps and bruises to see where they're at. None of that. The guys we know about, certainly, Coach Reed typically doesn't have them out there too long. But I'm really, I think I've probably said this every first preseason game. I'm particularly more interested in finding out where we are as a tackling group, where we are at eliminating big plays. You got to do that stuff first before you even think about being any good.
The two-part question. One, people talk about how complex your defense is. One, what do you think about the rookies and the new players coming in, learning where are they at in their growth progression? But then also, what are your expectations for year 2 for the rookies from last year, along with Justin Reed, and where they are comfortably in?
Yeah, the expectation, the second part first, the expectation for the guys that have been here is that they would take this thing up a notch and wouldn't make those same mistakes that they made last year at this time. Now, for the most part, that has happened. But there have been some guys where focus wasn't great. And I look at them and say, you made that same mistake last year. You shouldn't be making that now. So that's that group. For the most part, they've been pretty good. The young guys, I think, have done a really good job. There's been guys that have stepped up. You've seen them out here. We're moving Chamari around a little bit. Echo's playing a little bit. A lot of those young guys are getting the volume for them is getting huge now. It's about to get really cut way down because when we play this game, they'll have, that much of a game plan going in, and we'll just find out what they can do. But, the mental part of it, we always want to challenge them here. And then in these preseason games to find out what they can do physically, we usually take some of that off of them. Otherwise, we're not going to know where they are athletically in this particular setting.
What exactly are you going to be looking for? What are you going to be looking for in these games that you're going to be looking for from these players?
In all of them?
Well, yeah, just, the new players. You only got 3.
I'm going to go back to what I just said. To me, the first thing I'll talk about Saturday night is tackling. Now, that was the first thing we'll talk about. I might spend the whole 30-minute meeting on it. I feel like if we don't do that or come away thinking that we're a decent tackling team, we're going to be back here, going back to ground zero. So that's going to be the first thing. The mental part of it will be important, but there won't be that much on them. I just want to see if they'll go play. Let's see if they can do the young guys now. Let's see if we can they can do the things that we saw them do when they were playing in college.
You had Echo with the first team the other day for a couple days.
A little bit of that's because of the guys that we have out. But
how realistic?
Yeah, listen, the one thing I like about Echo is he responds to really aggressive coaching. There's been a couple of things that he's had to, and he has. I love working with him. I mean, he's so receptive to everything, and he's given everything he's got. He just needs to learn how to be a pro playing in the secondary.
You mentioned the second-year guys and needing to see them take a step forward and put the mistakes behind them. It looked like Najee was doing that.
Yeah.
With Joshua and Jalen, how have they been handling it?
It's at times it's up and down, but they're light years ahead of where they were last year. So that part's good. And in the midst of the middle of training camp, everybody has an off play here or there, but the expectations for them are so much higher now than they were a year ago, and then we try to keep that expectation up high.
You're ready to face somebody different than the same old guys in training camp.
I'll bet if you asked every one of them, they'd probably say, yeah, it's time to hit somebody else. I mean, and then the other thing is we can't do, quote unquote, real live football here. We don't, which is very smart to do. We want to keep everybody healthy. But if these guys are really into the game of football, especially defensive football, they should want that part of it, right?
What's your impression of edge rushers right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, Charles has been dinged a little bit. Mike's been dinged. So we probably don't have the foundation of reps for those guys right now. But George has had I look at the play count every day. Terry gives it to me, and his play count's way up. So he's rolling along real good. Malik's got a lot of reps in there. Josh has. And it's been good for those two guys because in the last couple of years they've been here, that hadn't been the case. But we'll see what they do in the game setting.
Felix, he's going to probably get to work in here. Coach talked about him yesterday. He's getting a little bit more comfortable. Looks like he's letting it loose a little bit. Just what are your thoughts about what he's done for you out here and also in the media?
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose because he does look a lot more comfortable. Volume's heavy for him right now. His pitch count has gone up in the last week. A, because the guys that have been nicked up, and B, because he's kind of earned it. And he's coming along and missed all that time we talked about in OTAs. But I think he's making up for it now, and hopefully he'll do that.
Steve Spagnuolo meeting with the media today. We've got the tackling machine, Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton met with the media. Here is what he had to say today.
Ready to hit somebody in a game?
Yes, ma'am, man. It's been long overdue. We've been a couple third periods, but nothing like the live action and live tackling. So I think as a defense, we're kind of excited for that one for sure.
Sorry, what do you want to get out of Sunday's game?
Yeah, man, I think we come in with a lot out of it. Tackling for one, stopping the run. Run game hasn't really been a huge thing in this training camp. We're more pass-oriented. So, again, opportunity to see how we prepare against the run. Good D-linemen, inside blocks, linebackers stacking shit, getting off the blocks, and tackling on the perimeter. I kind of feel like those are kind of big things, especially week 1 through 5. As a defense, kind of things we kind of be on top of to help us out.
You expecting to play Sunday? Or?
No, we haven't talked about playing time. Again, many snaps. I'm allowed to go out there, communicate, get people to line, and just have fun and play football again.
Nick, how would you compare how the defense has done in this training camp compared to last training camp?
Yeah, I feel like this training camp for sure. I think everybody's a little bit older in the scheme-wise. Jay Reed, second-year guy. I'm going in my third year. Willie's fourth year. Sneed's fourth year. So the more communication part, we left off. We're coming in from last year to this year is night and day. Everybody's communicating. Everybody feels more comfortable. We can talk to each other, give people hand signals, and kind of know what each other's thinking. And that kind of helps us out a lot. So if we can keep doing that, keep building on that, I feel like we'll be in a good position.
Today, where it looks like you drew Kelsey in coverage during the live period. Just how difficult is it to defend against Travis?
Yeah, man, the greatest in the game. We got opportunity to go against him at 15 every single day. It makes you better. So many opportunities as I can. Out coverage, me, Willie, Drew, Leo. And anytime we can line up versus Trav and the rest of the tight ends and Pat throwing the ball, and those will help us out down the long run. So, again, we know he's greatest in the game, and he's earned that recognition.
You obviously know how the guys who've been around here for a while can tackle. For these rookies, really never seen them tackle anyone, right? How excited are you to see some of those guys to see what they can do on that end of the game?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for sure. We got a lot of young rookies that came in, learning the scheme, and kind of help themselves get the scheme part down. They can just learn about playing just football and just hitting, tackling, making plays out in space, and kind of getting back to where they were. I tell all the rookies that the goal is try to mentally get to the part where you can feel like you're back in college again. Or you just go out there and line up, you hit a ball, you just go out there and you just play. So we get those guys to that point, I know would be good and set up for the rest of the season.
Spags had mentioned, we were talking about Brian Cook and how he's coming along. He's going to play a lot more this year.
Sure.
What's your connection with him been like with him back there behind you, kind of quarterbacking that department?
Yeah, man. B. Cook, man, is a vocal guy. I mentioned earlier that he said something that he might be completely wrong, but it makes you believe he's 100% right. But more times than not, he's 100% right. So getting guys lined up and communicating, man, and make sure everybody's on the same page. And if he sees something, he think he can help me out, or vice versa, man. He communicates that out loud, and there's open communication between everybody on the football field. So I know having him is making us a great football team.
Nick, how's the linebacker room coming together? Just considering you guys do different things well, and you guys are interchanging some of the personnel. Just how do you feel about the room as a whole? Yeah, man, I feel like we're growing us together, trying to figure out what each other does the best. How do we make each other better? I feel like that's having takes time, but I feel like we're in a great spot. We know which guy brings what to the table, and just kind of maximize that much as we can. And to see how the season takes us, to see how different packages and stuff works out down the line. But for right now, again, we were just worried about trying to get our run fits down, pass zone coverages, and just coming together as a unit.
Nick, Travis has kind of shown that he's not always happy with being defended. As defenders, does that just help build up a young team that no matter who you're facing, you got to do your job, you got to get the ball away, that kind of thing when you're playing guys like this? Yeah, man.
Travis is a little older guy, man, so he's a little older, man, so a couple little hits at the bottom of the whistle, man, probably aggravates a little bit. But, again, we're going to be a defense, take the ball away, and just be aggressive mindset on defense. And I think that's how you do anything, that's how you do everything. And so, again, those guys attacking the football, man, so we want to preach and get the ball back to offense as many times as possible. Right now, I understand he might not like it now, but we're getting the ball back in the regular season, man. I know he'll love it. So we're going to keep at it.
Nick, you sense a different confidence with this group this year out here against what it's a really good offense?
Yeah, I think kind of a testament to our coaches, how much time people have put in the offseason. Granted, we played at the end of February, so our downtime wasn't as much as it was the year before. So guys kind of picking up where we left off and just understanding the communication and what we're trying to do in the grand scheme of things. I kind of think that's kind of helped us propel ourselves to where we are right now. And then going against our offense, you know what they bring to the table, the best in the league at what they do. So we can go out there every single day and compete, make everything contested. Even if they do catch the ball, make it contested, and that'll help us down the road.
Last one. Nick, you set some high goals for the season. You want to be a top 10 defense. Just what do you got to see out of the guys in the first preseason game to know you're kind of on the right track to getting there? Yeah, man, I just get a line, assignment-wise, communication, and just tackling, and get the ball back to the offense for great turnovers. And we can do those 5 things. I think we'll be pretty.
That is tackling machine Nick Bolton. Good stuff from Nick Bolton. I think they can be a top 10 defense. I do. But they need Chris Jones. I think they need Charles Menahu, and they need to be a top 10 defense in December. So that's what Steve Spagnuolo and Nick Bolton had to say. We'll hear from Andy Reid, a couple players tomorrow. Maybe, I don't know if we'll see Patrick Mahomes tomorrow. I'll have to wait and see. When it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs and what's going to happen tomorrow. We'll get a timeout. Coming up next, Odds Makers here on Mic'd Up. Alrighty, Fulton. The final odds makers for Fulton. Alexander Castor.
Nope. Whenever you need a hint, just let me know.
I still got a couple more days.
You got time.
I'll get hints Friday.
Okay. See if you can figure this out before I'm done.
Yep.
Got a lot of names to go through.
A lot of, but you say it's a very
common name.
Common name.
It's a common name. You know, it's not Aloysius. Still, it's right there, Daniel. It's right there. Aloysius Lynch IV. That is a confident Southern lawyer whose grandmother makes the best glass of sweet tea on this planet. Daniel Lynch IV is cool too, but not as cool as Aloysius Lynch IV. Just saying.
I know it. I shouldn't have said Alex because you said it didn't start with an A.
That's true. I have said it doesn't start with an A. I have said that.
And I think I've guessed.
You guessed a lot.
Michael.
Yep.
I've guessed a lot. And those are super common names.
You guessed a lot. You've never gotten to it.
We'll figure it out eventually. We'll figure it out. What are the odds the Royals lose 107 games?
They're on pace for 111 after the 3-game losing streak, or 110 or whatever. They've gotten it down to 109. I was 93% last week. I'm at about a 95. I really think somewhere between 108 and 112 is where they finish. Which stinks. Not fun. Not a fun record. I don't like any bit of that. But hey, man, I'm at the point now. Just don't have fewer than 112 losses. Don't have more than 112 losses.
Why 112?
Because then you're not at 50 wins.
Okay, so now we're at.
I'm now at please win 50 games.
Okay.
I'm now at 50 and 112, and maybe I don't want to just like launch myself off a roof.
Okay.
So yeah, about 95%. They're setting a franchise record for losses. This is gonna be the worst season of franchise history, and it's not fun, but we're here. We are where we are.
From the text line, they say Marie is a common middle name. Is it?
It is. It's not my middle name.
Not Marie.
Nope,
Okay.
not Marie.
Just throwing it out there.
Vance in the YouTube comments has suggested James. Vance, good guess.
I've asked that.
That's been asked before, and it's incorrect.
It starts with a J, though.
Nope. 24 more letters to go.
There's really only about like 10 letters that it can be, because it's not Q,
Nope.
X,
Nope.
Y, or
Nope.
Z.
Nope.
All right. It's not
There you
A.
go.
It's not J.
Yep. All right, we're starting to work this out.
You know, it's probably not L.
There you go. No, it's not L. Look at you. You're using context clues.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm proud of you.
A-Q.
This is Jake's new mission. Identify my middle name before he's done. Here's the worst. Here's the thing. And I'm
Down
not
to 19 letters.
I'm not confident in this. My middle name might be on our work documents. So, like, you could cheat so easily.
I don't want to do that, though.
No, and I'm proud of you. Like, that's what I'm proud of. It's also
do
kind of how have you been looking at anything paperwork-wise the past 2 years have you not figured this out?
No, because I'd have to really look super
That's true.
deep into it. Because,
That's fair.
Like your time card and timesheet and everything just says Fulton Cast.
Yeah, I know that one definitely doesn't have it on there. Either way, I will say I don't know for sure if it's on there because I don't know if I don't put it on a lot of documents because it's. My middle name's fine. I have attachments to it, but it's not like I'm not one of those people that it is a part of my introduction of who I am. So that's why not everyone knows what it is. This new game we've played is very, very, very fun. It's very entertaining. Jake, where are you at? You were at 80% last time. Gotta get your data recorded.
90.
Here. 90. That's fair.
The losing 3 in a row here is a bit of a snag.
It didn't help.
They need another 5-game winning streak in order to
another
really
7-game winning streak. That'd be cool.
Get it down there, to be honest with
It's
you.
just they dug such a hole. Like they dug such a grave for themselves that the math is truly against them. Jake, the Chiefs' first preseason game is Sunday afternoon in New Orleans. What are the odds Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown pass? He's going to get one drive. Andy's going to say, no, because here's what's going to happen. And you and I both know this. Andy is going to say, the starters will play the first quarter. The starters will play one drive. Some of them may get a second, and then they're all done. He does this song and dance every year, and honestly, I'm finally over it. I am. Just say it. They're getting a drive.
Odds that he'll throw a touchdown, I'll say 38%.
Okay. That's good. I'd say about 25. You're putting so much on one drive. Now, because of the Chiefs, there's always a chance.
If they go 3 and out. They're
He
not
might. That's
gonna
true.
go 3 and out because I don't think they've ever gone 3 and out.
I don't know when the last time they ever went 3 and out
on a preseason game.
Yeah.
Normally they do pretty well.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Nope. Got the right letter, though. Also, have you looked at the YouTube comments?
No.
Okay, don't look there. Vance, I will tell you this now because I know you're listening. You got it right. Vance has guessed it correctly. Do not look at those YouTube comments.
I'm not.
I know. I'm trusting you.
I'm not.
I'm trusting you. I'm putting some faith in you. But it is a T.
All right.
Starts with a T. But yes, congrats, Vance. You nailed it.
It's not Tyler.
Vance, I don't know. And please let me know. I don't know if you looked that up or just guessed it, but very well done.
How's he gonna look it up?
I believe. Oh boy, I'm trying to think. I want to say somewhere on one of my social media sites it might be up.
Okay.
I'm not confident in that because I don't. It's not on any of the ones I use heavily. But I've existed on the internet for well over a decade, so this random stuff I've barely ever looked at. Okay. Yeah, Vance got it right. Congrats to you, Vance. And for anyone reading those comments, that is my middle name.
All right.
And now Jake knows the letter. That letter and a common name.
There we go. Let's figure it out.
Bingo.
What are the odds Chris Jones gets a contract done?
50%. I'm at dead 50-50. I'm at dead 50-50.
Everybody else seems to think you and I are kind of like the pessimistic folks here. Because Fulton thinks it's going to be done. Matt Derrick thinks it's going to be done. Everybody thinks it's going to be done.
For me, it might be like 50.5 to 49.5. But it's just, like I said, if he's willing to miss a game check, it feels like we're in a game of chess that's so deep. I don't know.
Alrighty. These are some, since you're leaving us on Friday,
Yes.
I got to get a couple future bets
Yes.
out there right now. What are the odds that KU
Hawks
goes to a bowl game?
60%.
Okay.
I think Lance will get them to 6-6 again. I don't know if they'll be much better than 6-6. I think Lance gets them to 6-6. Because there's 3 to 4 wins in this conference schedule. So they could go at least 2-1, if not 3-0. in the non-con, which I think they go 3-0. I think they can beat Illinois. I really think they can beat Illinois.
What are the odds that KU beats K-State?
20%. K-State's that good, and until I see it, like y'all know how much I love KU. Until I watch KU beat them, I can't
Been
go
a
against.
while.
It's been a while, and they're still just two vastly different programs.
Been a while.
Like KU's getting better, but I'm saying like hopefully they're 6-6. Remember, I picked K-State to win this conference, and I still think they will.
Okay.
Two different levels.
I'm gonna keep firing a few of them here. Since you're gone, you're leaving me. What are the odds the Royals make the playoffs before they play in their new building?
40%.
Woo! You think they're actually going to get it done between now and 2027?
And I know this is I'm psychotic. 27 or 28.
Yeah.
I know I'm psychotic.
So you're saying the Royals are going to make the playoffs
within the next 4 years?
Because 24, 5, 6,
and 7. Yeah.
Because if they play their first game in
28.
You think they're going to make the playoffs in the next 4 years?
Oh
my goodness!
Here's
I'm
the
so
thing.
excited.
Here's the thing. And I want to, we have the time here. I want to explain this because also I'm not going to really get a chance to keep explaining this. What that win streak showed me is there is a core of human beings on this team that they can win with. Bobby's becoming an MVP player. He's here through 2027. I think that might be his literal last year, unless there's a contract extension, which I don't know what he'll do at that point. Bobby can be that guy. Mikel can be that guy. You know, those two for sure can lead you. I don't know if Freddie Fermin is, but, and I mean, by 2027, Freddie Fermin that's 4 years. Freddie Fermin's 32. Can he be a 90 weighted runs created plus catcher at that point? I think he can. That's not elite, but that's good enough.
Do you think Freddie Fermin's the catcher for the Royals for the next couple of years?
No. Freddie is your catcher at most for the next 2 seasons.
Okay.
And then, but they have catchers in the system I like Luka Tresh might finally come up eventually. I like his offensive game. There's some other things that are question marks. If Carter Jensen can get better at putting the bat on the ball, his walk rate is elite. I know there's a lot of ifs, ands, buts, and coconuts with all this.
Fulton, just what blows my mind is that you know these people.
Yeah, I'm a sicko dedicated to this baseball team.
Yes.
I know so many minor league players.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. By 2027, the best players the Royals have in the minors are all like high A guys. And I know a lot can still happen between high A and the bigs. I understand that. I'm also putting some blind faith that John Schreiber might spend money. But I think by 27, the Royals, basically, do you think by 27, the Royals can win 84 games? Do you think by 27, they could scratch and claw their way to an 84 win season?
Nothing suggests that, no.
Because it's that simple. Because with the extra wildcard team and how bad the AL Central always is, can you be an 85 win team? I'm not saying it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's 40%. I'm still saying it's not likely. It's more likely it doesn't happen. But I would not be stunned if you say in 2027, the Royals sneak in as the 7th wild card.
So they're not going to make the playoffs then?
They might sneak in 27.
Okay.
It would not stun me. And I have to be optimistic or bad things creep in.
But bad things are already here. They're not creeping.
Yeah, they are. They're really bad right now.
Here.
It's really, really dark now.
It's here.
It's horrible.
They're not like on the way.
It's absolutely horrendous.
They're not creeping.
It's absolutely horrendous.
If anything, they've set up shop and have reproduced. It's here. It's now. Well, they're on pace to lose 111 games. There's no creeping.
I know. Any others you need to get fired off here?
That's all I can think of just now off the top of my head.
We'll think of more. We'll get to Friday.
We'll get some more.
Yeah,
we'll get some more.
That's time.
What are the odds that Mahomes wins 4 Super Bowls?
He's got 2.
Correct.
70%.
Wow.
I know they're hard to win. I understand that. Unless you can tell me that some sort of dramatic decline is coming, he's getting 2 more.
All right.
He's getting 2 more.
Coming up next, we'll get the latest on the Chiefs injury news. And one thing about the Chiefs that I don't understand, but they have to be the top in the NFL in one category. We'll get to that next. We will talk a little bit more K-State coming up tomorrow with Kellis Robinette. We'll hear from head coach Andy Reid. Try to talk a little Big 12 football as well coming up tomorrow and Thursday. Preview the game on Sunday. Chiefs versus the Saints. Do you know that Derrick Carr has a chance to lose to every single team in the NFL now that he's playing for the Saints?
That doesn't surprise me. Who's he missing?
Well, he's missing the Raiders.
Yeah, he's missing the Raiders, obviously. And Raiders and Saints play this year?
I believe so.
Wouldn't surprise me. Let me check their 2023 schedule.
I believe so.
Let me look at their schedule. Nope.
They don't.
Titans, Panthers, Packers, Bucks, da-da-da. They do not play the Raiders this season.
Well, then the tweet was wrong. Maybe in the future?
Maybe. Or else there's part of the schedule I'm missing. But pretty sure Pro Football Reference will be a pretty complete schedule.
Huh.
Someone needs to do their fact checking.
I want to know how come the Chiefs get sick more than any other team in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. How are they the sickest team in football?
So today, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was not at practice because he was sick. Man, there's unless that's what they just use to have it be an excused absence. But man, the Chiefs always are sick. There's so many guys who get sick. You know what I mean? Like so sick that you couldn't show up to work. You know what I mean? Like what why is that?
I don't know, man.
I thought it was just like a Frank Clark thing, but I'm thinking it's
man. Rick Burkhardt needs to reteach them how to wash their hands.
Right?
Wash your hands. Cover your mouth when you cough and you sneeze. Truly, they're the sickest team in the NFL, and it's so weird.
Don't understand it.
I don't get it.
Really don't.
It's really weird. No, it's strange. It's a strange thing. Has Frank Clark gotten sick with the Broncos yet?
Yeah, he didn't practice for a day or two. Don't know what it was for, though.
I think, honestly, Frank might have some sort of actual thing. So, like, for Frank, I try to make fun of him a little less because, like, I get it. I get Frank's. But that is always sometimes a little fun. Is just, has Frank Clark gotten sick yet? Because it will happen. For the Chiefs, though, yeah, I don't know why all these guys get sick so much. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Very strange.
The NFL Top 100 was released.
Yeah, it was.
Patrick Mahomes, number 1.
As he should be.
Justin Jefferson, number 2. You on board with that?
Would you consider him the best non-quarterback in the NFL? That's just a question you have to ask yourself. Is he the best non-quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay, he's number 2.
Yeah. No,
boom,
I'm
done.
all right with that.
We're finished here. We're home.
Yeah.
We're home.
He's that good.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm not arguing this. Yeah, like, no, we're home. That to me is the question you have to ask yourself, because if you think he's the best non-quarterback, then he needs to be number 2. Because the best non-quarterback to me should be only below the best quarterback. If we want to quibble over, okay, Jalen Hurts is the second best quarterback, so maybe he should be above Justin Jefferson, we can start quibbling there a little bit. But if we think, oh, yeah, best player, that's not the quarterback position, is Justin Jefferson, number 2 is a great spot for him. Because the best quarterback should always be number 1. With how important the quarterback position is, whoever is the best quarterback in the NFL should always occupy number 1 on that list. Which might make some people very upset and be like, we should other guys better. The quarterback is so important. The best player, I don't know. That's just how I view it.
Jalen Hurts, the third best quarterback or third best player in the NFL?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
He's not the second best quarterback in the NFL.
No, I don't think so.
And that's no disrespect to Jalen. Jalen's a very good player. He's really grown. Like, he impressed me in that Super Bowl. He's a good football player. He's not the second best quarterback in the NFL. It's just not true.
No.
Which circles back to these lists don't honestly mean that much. They're just fun off-season fodder. Unless you need someone to take personally and you're Patrick Mahomes who has to count things on his fingers, which is funny.
This is the first time ever that this list has been released that 3 players from the same team have made the top 10.
Pretty cool.
Travis Kelce's 5th.
Yep.
And that goes back to what we said. Who would you take?
Yeah, what skill position guys are we taking over Trev?
And the answer to at least with this list, there's only one.
Justin Jefferson.
It is Justin Jefferson. We debated Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those would be the 2 others. Tyreek Hill ranked 7th. How about that?
Yeah. Trav good. Trav real good. Greatest tight end of all time. I'm willing to start that campaign. I'm not asking all of you to join me on that. You can join me when you decide so choose. But I'm ready to start the campaign and start driving the truck around that Travis Kelce is the greatest tight end to play the game of football. There's not one better. Sorry, Tony. Sorry, Robbie. No.
The quarterbacks rated by the players.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes 1, Hurts 2, Burrow 3, Allen 4, Herbert 5.
Yeah.
Cousins 6, Rodgers 7, Dak 8, Goff 9, Lamar 10, Geno 11.
Let's go.
Tua 12. Here's where they got me. They have Justin Fields ahead of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm a Justin Fields truther, and even I think that's a little early. and I'm a certified Justin Fields truther. I can't make the Brendan jokes that he's part of 2-on. We don't have that in the Justin Fields camp. But I'm firmly entrenched on that side of the line. Even I say you got to put Trevor ahead because Trevor last year was so good.
Especially
also,
late.
Speaking of which, predictions of NFL things, I got that one right when I said Trevor was going to be top in those categories for like 4,020. He was. Boom. Just wanted to remind myself I can toot my horn that I knew Trevor was going to be really good last year.
Here's what I need you to do, Fulton.
Yo, what's up?
Friday's your last day.
Yep.
I need you to give me your worst take as part of On Second Thought. What has been your worst take?
I got some good ones.
I need the worst.
I might need to try to comb through some film. I got a few off the top of my head that were pretty bad.
Okay.
I've got a few funny enough, I have like 3 Royals takes off the top of my head that were just, they've aged so poorly. Got some bad ones.
Yeah, I need that.
I won't pick this one, so I'm going to say it right now because I will not pick it. It does not count because it's kind of aged better. But remember when I was like championing and campaigning that Carlos Hernandez would be a really good starting pitcher? And I said he should have been an opening day starter.
Yeah, he was your boy.
He still kind of is. I love Carlos. That take is it's aged not that gracefully. I still think he can be a good bullpen arm. He's figuring some stuff out.
Your John Heasley take.
Yeah, I can't. I'm going to flesh out right now. The clubhouse leader is my John Heasley take. That was bad.
Terrible.
That is aged
that was your
milk.
guy.
That is aged like milk.
Yeah.
That one's horrible. I've tried to distance myself from that pretty hard.
Yeah, so
as I've always said, if you're a Royals player and you're a hitter, you want me on your side. I've been pretty good on nailing my hitter predictions. Pitchers, genuinely, you usually don't want me on your side. Unless your name's Cole Reagans. We're firing on that cylinder.
How about this? According to some reports from the media,
oh no,
players have complained to head coach Ron Rivera about Eric Bieniemy's coaching methods being too harsh.
Yeah, that came out this morning, and Ron Rivera spoke about it, which was interesting. That this all came out really because of Ron Rivera. Eric Bieniemy was asked about it in his availability today with the Commanders, and he basically said, "Yeah, I'm not going to change. I ride guys hard. We do a fast, tough camp." But EB also was like, at the same time, I'm going to ride these guys and, really stay on them. I'm also going to be their biggest supporter and biggest fan and try to clarify some things. There are definitely some players who have complained. Antonio Gibson has come out publicly for the Commanders and said, nah, he's cool with it. Antonio's like, this is the toughest camp we've ever had that I've been a part of, but it's good. It's going to make us better.
And very fast-paced, getting off plays.
Yeah,
and
it looks
everything.
like he brought the Andy Reid training camp to Washington, which they need it.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill tweeted out just a few minutes ago, man, there's no other coach that has your back like EB. Take that coaching and get better.
Yep.
We all been through. It's tough, but I promise you it will make you better. Jamal Charles retweeted that as well.
It really seems like this is coming out, and it's, of course, gotten some legs because of some, there's always been the EB, why is he need a head coach thing, and this can be part of the legs of, if your eyes as players too hard and he doesn't want to change. The fact of the matter is, it seems like it's a small minority of Commanders players that are not liking it. It is vastly different from what they've ever been used to, but it's seeming from any Chiefs player you talk to or any ex-member of that team or has been dealing with this thing or even certain members of the Commanders, it's a good thing of what's happening. Like,
soft.
Honestly, that's what's kind of been being said about the players that are complaining that they're just being soft. That, yeah, Eric's writing you, but you need it. Like, toughen up. Like, and I will say, ain't nothing for EB for me that's saying he's doing anything wrong. Like, he's writing you and wanting you to be perfect and making practice fast-paced. Boo-hoo. Is he verbally abusing you, mentally abusing you, or physically harming you? No, he's just coaching you hard. Yeah, you probably need that.
Jamal Charles tweeted out, I love EB. I know he coached different, but I know one thing. He can take another level, too.
Yeah. Washington needs it. Yeah, they do.
Interesting. That also just shows you how difficult the Chiefs training camp.
Yeah, it is. EB's bringing the other places and they're like, man, what is this?
A little different. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. Time for the mic drop. Fulton, what do you got?
KU unveiled their new weight room today for football. It is big. It is spacious. It is state of the art. It is gorgeous. I'm so happy to see the program being invested in for the first time in forever.
We need the challenge rule in baseball. And everyone that goes to a minor league game says it works fantastic. And I think it's going to be implemented next year. You don't like the call, you can challenge it. That avoids all arguments back and forth from each side. Get the challenge rule. If tennis can do it instantly, so can baseball. Coming up next, we got 580 Sports Talk. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon.